Thanks, Riaz. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock. The initial autopsy results of an unarmed black teenager shot dead by a police officer in Missouri are in, and they are sparking more violent protests in the town of Ferguson, Missouri. The governor there has now called in the National Guard.
Disperse the area immediately.
A report has found the teen was shot 6 times, 4 times in the right arm and twice in the head. Last night, protesters tossed firebombs and police responded with tear gas and smoke canisters. The protesters dispersed just before the now 2-day-old overnight curfew. Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder has approved a second autopsy on Brown's body, and there will be a third autopsy at the request of the family.
Well, I think what folks have to remember is when Molotov cocktails are being thrown at police, bottles, gunshots especially, these are deadly force situations. We normally, in any other situation, would be able to react with the same amount of force being used against us. We are not doing that. We're trying to disperse these people by less lethal munitions. So that's what we have done all along.
We were walking peacefully down to the mall, and a young lady was hit in her face with smoke bombs and tear gas.
But that curfew?
And we were peaceful. This is unacceptable, and this is not the law. This is unacceptable. Until we get justice, we will not stop.
In other news, tomorrow will be 2 weeks to what should be the start of the new public school year in BC, and still teachers and the province have yet to reach a deal. But even if classes do start on time, it may not be business as usual.
Generally, we would be taking the students in, putting them into groupings and trying to get on with some meaningful activities as soon as we can. But it is going to be a challenging year.
Parents are also anxiously waiting to hear when classes will officially be back in session. Teachers and their employer agreed to a media blackout last week after separate meetings with Vince Reddy. He has offered his mediating services if the two sides appear poised for progress. Mark Emery has finally returned home to the place he was originally crowned the Prince of Pot. Emery arrived in Vancouver yesterday after his release from an American jail. He served 4 years for selling marijuana seeds online to U.S. customers. Now that he's free, Emery is rallying supporters to vote Liberal in next year's federal election based on a commitment to legalize marijuana.
If everybody in the cannabis culture shows up just one day for half hour, we'll legalize marijuana across Canada by next year in October. So that's a really momentous opportunity for Canadians, and that's what I'm going to dedicate much of the next 14 months to promoting and doing and going across Canada.
Emery's freedom was later celebrated with a public smokeout at Victory Square. He was greeted with a hero's welcome by friends, supporters, and fellow pot smokers.
I'm back here feeling better than ever, more motivated than ever. By the way, we're going to get this thing done, and sooner than you think.
Since his release from jail, Emery says he's been reacquainting himself with pot, smoking up to 20 joints a day. If you were hoping to head to the fair at the PNE today, you'll have to hold off until tomorrow. For more on today's closure, we are joined live by Greg Harper. Greg?
Good morning, Jody. Just outside the entrance to the PNE here on Hastings and Renfrew after a very busy weekend at the fair. The great weather certainly helped. We won't know the attendance figures until after the fair is over, but organizers are happy. Won't be busy today, though. For the second year in a row, the fair is closed on the first and second Mondays during the run. Organizers did this last year with lots of success. This enables organizers to provide more, they say, over the 15 days compared to 17 days. There is lots that is new this year, including the Game of Thrones exhibit, which was very popular over the weekend. Also something new this year that organizers are trying out, fairgoers can get wristbands and sign up for specific times to avoid standing in long lines to get on those favorite rides.
Usually what we do is we range between 700,000 and 900,000 people every fair. So over the 15 days, it really depends on things like weather, other events that are going on in town, stuff like that. But we're hoping to get somewhere in the area of 750,000 people.
So again, the PNE is closed today. It will be closed next Monday as well. That's August 25th. It will be open tomorrow, and admission is free from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The fair runs to September 1st. Jody?